All right, so excited to be here. Thanks everyone for joining me today. So today's topic, Kubernetes Backup as a Service made easy with CloudCasa by Catalogic. My name is Yongkang. So I'm already 53 times multi-cloud certified, as you can see from the screen. I'm also proud of being 5 times Google Cloud certified and also 4 times Kubernetes certified. So happy to be here. Let's talk about the Kubernetes backup as a service on Google Cloud, especially for GKE cluster. So first of all, why the continuous backups are so important? There are multiple reasons. I only listed a few here. So first of all, the data is the end user's responsibilities, even you're running in the cloud. So secondly, you might have accidental deletion or maybe cyber attack, malicious attacks cause your data loss. A third point listed here is you might want to move the containers between your production system and the test dev systems. In addition, you might want to reach the portability or migration across different cloud, could be cross region or cross account, cross project, or maybe cross version migration. With the right backup tool, it makes life a lot easier. Last but not least, you might have the regulation requirements or compliance requirements. So what are the common tools available, especially for Kubernetes? Or, we talk about Kubernetes native backup tools. First of all, Google also have their own, backup tool. It's called Backup for GKE. It is actually the first party backup tool. It's not from a third party. It is provided by Google to focusing on the GKE cluster backup and migration use cases. And the second one is Valero. It is backed by VMware. You might also notice here that people thought they are number one free open source backup tool. And the third one listed here, custom by Veeam. They claim they are number one Kubernetes backup, and followed by Portworx by Pure Storage. They also claim they are number one Kubernetes storage. And toward the bottom of the screen, you can see CloudCasa by Catalogic. So from their website, they talk about their best Kubernetes backup as a service tools. So previously, I already covered Castan. I haven't tried the rest of the tools yet, but last week I had a chance to try CloudCasa. So that's today's focus. I will talk about CloudCasa by Catalogic. Let's see. There are actually a lot of other tools also available. So according to GigaOM Radar report, left-hand side, that's from 2020. And the right-hand side, that's from the year 2021. You might notice CloudCasa wasn't in the picture in 2020, but from year 2021, they were added to the list. So you can notice from here, CloudCasa by Catalogic. And actually, it is one of the fast mover. They're doing pretty good. They also moved to the inner circle. If you're not sure how to read the chart, so basically, the close to the center, the better. Okay, so CloudCasa did a very good job to come into the GigaOM's radar report as one of the fast mover. So what problems does the CloudCasa address here? Nowadays everybody knows Kubernetes is so popular. There are a lot of advantages, a lot of strengths listed here on the left hand side. I'm not going to talk about it one by one, but I want to highlight Kubernetes also have their own weaknesses. That's the one listed here on the right hand of the screen. So the backup was very good, provided by Kubernetes itself. The disaster recovery, data migration, the security, it is also not that good. and also talking about the hybrid cloud mobility. So that's the area CloudCasa really doing a very good job. So let's look a little bit deeper of what Kubernetes data production as a service from CloudCasa can do. Or we talk about a backup as a service. So you can see on the screen from left-hand side, so you might running your Kubernetes from Amazon EKS, Azure AKS, Google Kubernetes Engine, or any other Kubernetes certified, versions. It could be SUSE Rancher, could be OpenShift. You might running all different storage. You might running in the cloud. You might running, on premises. So CloudCasa does provide an application-aware templates to create the application consistency backup. And also, they provide the centralized discovery and management. So that means if you're running from any one of the supported public cloud, life is a lot easier. I just tried last week. So basically, you just connect to the cloud account, and then it will automatically discover all of your Kubernetes clusters from, for example, from your Google GKE, or maybe AKS, or could be EKS. And they also have another stuff which is, in my opinion, it is pretty cool. Why the rest of the backup vendors, they don't even think about how to provide the proactive security scan. They already have the feature built in. So right now it is still in beta, but it is still ahead of the rest of the competitors, in my opinion. So on the right-hand side, you might notice CloudCasa has their own control plane. So that means when you deploy, when you're going to protect any one of the Kubernetes cluster, the back of the containers, you don't have to manage the control plane by yourself. CloudCasa manage the control plane for you, but they do require to deploy the lightweight agent into any one of the managed Kubernetes clusters. Or could be on-premise, your self-built clusters, or could be from a cloud. Okay, then it will talk to CloudCasa control plane. I believe it is. They are also running in one of the public cloud, but I'm not aware of which cloud they are using. And the other advantage is when it comes to backup, you might also want to send another copy to external object storage. So with CloudCasa, they actually provide you the storage by default. That's the managed storage from provided by CloudCasa. It's part of the price plan or part of the free plan. You already have the storage. You don't have to go to talk to other storage provider to get the storage access. So they already have the choice of Amazon S3 or Azure Blob Storage across probably 20 plus regions. So it enables the cross-region, cross-cloud resilience. But having said that, for customers, they might still prefer to bring your own storage. Could be running from any one of the popular storage like a Ceph or Black Bay, Blaze, or any other object storage, also supported by CloudCasa. It allows you to enable the self-service for the backup, for the recovery. And they also have the tamper-proof backups. That means you can enable the safe lock, kind of like object lock, to avoid a ransomware attack. So excited about the offerings I tried last week. I'm basically very much impressed with the offerings from CloudCasa. So let's look into a little bit more about the offering, especially for Google GKE. So they talk about they are the most advanced solution for Google Kubernetes engine. It is cloud aware, it is so secure and so simple and transformative. So let's look into the details. On the left-hand side, you have a GCP, Google Cloud, you have your GKE cluster, you have all of your metadata, you have your control plane nodes, you have your work nodes, you have your etcd database, You have your persistent volume claim data here as well. So CloudCasa was here. It's running in the cloud. That's the control plane. You don't have to manage by yourself. That means you don't have to do the upgrades, do the maintenance. It is managed by CloudCasa, provided as a software as a service offerings. So it talked to Google Cloud GKE cluster via the API. So it's directly API integration. The moment you add a Google Cloud account, it allows you to automatically to discover all of your GKE clusters. And they also allow you to have the security audit integration. Now, when it comes to recover, do I have to recover to the original existing cluster? What if the whole cluster is gone, or even the whole data center is gone? Can I recover to a different, data center, different region, or completely you don't even have a GKE cluster? That's the stuff which is I very very much like CloudCasa. You can see the actually. So first of all, you do the backup. Part of the backup will capture your metadata, your etcd database, your PVC snapshots, and then send another copy to blob storage. It could be any one of the object storage. And then when it comes to recover, you can actually recover across different Google Cloud projects or across a different region. And also, very importantly, it allows to do what they call bare metal cluster recovery. That means part of your restore, you can choose to recover to a new cluster. That means it allows from the UI, it allows you to create a new GKE cluster on the fly. That means you don't have to have the expensive standby cluster that keeps running there. That is pretty cool, to be honest to you. I'm very excited about these particular offerings. And then once you recover, it allows you to recover the whole cluster. So basically the idea is that it allows to spin up a new GKE cluster first, and then automatically recover to that particular cluster. Comes with the whole, etcd database, and all of the persistent volume claim data, all the configuration basically are recovered to the new cluster. And in addition, they also provided the granular recovery capabilities. You might want to just recover the persistent volume claim. You might just want to recover any one of the Kubernetes spec artifacts. It does allow you to choose the individual resource and do the recovery. Okay. So excited about the offerings from our CloudCasa. Anyone want to try? So this is the plan. So that's why I ask everybody to bring your laptop. So we are going to prepare the environment first. Then we will enable the container backups on Google Cloud or via CloudCasa. Okay. If you don't have a Google Cloud account yet, so you need to create a Google Cloud, trial account. So towards the bottom of the screen, so you can watch the video to show you how you can create a Google Cloud trial account in 5 minutes. Once you have the Google Cloud account ready, you can create a GKE cluster, and it also comes with the PostgreSQL via the automation. Basically, this is a command here. You clone the repository from my GitHub page, and then you change to the directory, you run gke-deploy. So let me jump to the Cloud Shell. I'm actually logged into my Google Cloud account. So I already cloned the repository, and I already changed it to the directory actually. All I need to do is just run gke-deploy. So with this command, we are going to create a GKE cluster, and also we're going to install PostgreSQL database. It's part of the automation. We're going to spin up a GKE cluster. We're going to have the PostgreSQL sample database also installed. Okay, this step, it does take about, typically about 5 minutes. So that's, for the old version. Right now, I'm actually already upgraded to use the latest 1.25. That's the latest version. By the way, Google Cloud is the first cloud to offer managed Kubernetes 1.25. Okay, so while we are waiting for the cluster creating, let me come back to my slide deck here. So once we have the GKE cluster up running, so the next step is we can enable the container backups via the CloudCasa web console. If you don't have a CloudCasa account yet, so you need to sign up a trial account. How to sign up a trial account? Let me walk you through how to sign up a trial account first. So you click this link, it will take you to the screen here. It is actually pretty simple. You just need to provide your email address, your password, confirm your password, and then provide your first name, last name, company name, and the job title, and then click accept the terms. I'm not a robot, and then click sign up. So shortly, typically within a few seconds, you're going to receive an email, and then you just click the confirmation, verify that's you, and then once you complete all of that, you can log into the web console. So I'm actually already signed up a trial account, so I'm going to log into the console. So this is a login page. I choose my email address, my password, and I click sign in. So once I click sign in, it will take you to the dashboard of CloudCasa. By the way, it's a very simple, easy to use HTML5 web-based console. That's pretty good. So this is a dashboard. You can see by default, it shows you the last 24 hours, the job status. I got 2 jobs successful, 2 partial successful. And how many clusters I have? I don't have any clusters yet. And the first step is actually, let me come back to the slide. So once you have the trial account, the next step is you're going to need to add a cloud account. If you add the cloud account, for example, right now, I'm creating a GKE cluster from a Google Cloud. If I add a Google Cloud account to CloudCasa, we will automatically discover your GKE cluster from the cloud account. Well, that is pretty cool. You don't have to manually to configure individual clusters as long as you have the cloud account connected. So it will be automatically discovered or opt inventory of your cloud account to see what are the clusters up there. But alternatively, you can always add a Kubernetes cluster manually. Or could be the Kubernetes cluster is not running from the cloud account. You want to be able to auto discover. You might running from on premises. You can still add the Kubernetes cluster manually. Okay, just on the high level. Once you add the cloud account, you discover your Kubernetes cluster, then you can create a policy. What the policy does is basically 2 important settings: how often you want to schedule the job, and how long you want to keep the backup jobs. And then, last but not least, you define a backup. So that's the backup policy. You define what are you going to back up? Are you going to back up the whole cluster, or you want to back up an individual namespace? Now, how are you going to back them up? Do you want to just take a snapshot only, or do you want to take a snapshot followed by copy to the object storage? And which policy you want to attach to? So basically, how you're going to schedule the backup jobs. That's the high level, how to enable the container backups on CloudCasa. It's a pretty simple, pretty easy. And let's see if the cloud GKE cluster has been created yet. No, it's not yet. Yeah, it looks like I remember for 1.25, it does take about like 10 minutes. Yeah, because the clusters now have more and more feature functionality built in, it does take a longer time as well. So let me come back to the CloudCasa web console here. So how to add a cloud account. So the moment we already have a cloud, so right now they do support Google Cloud, Azure Cloud, or AWS Cloud. When you're going to add the cloud account, so from you can click from the dashboard listed under cloud providers. Right now, I did add 2 cloud providers. One is AWS, one is Google Cloud. Or you can go to the top of the screen under configurations. There is a cloud account. I'm going to click a cloud account. So you can see here, I got one from a GCP for Yongkang, that's from a Google Cloud, and AWS for Yongkang, that's from AWS Cloud. Both of these are active. So the one which is pending, actually, that's part of my testing. Let me remove that one first. So now I'm going to show you how to add a cloud account. Okay, from here, you click add a cloud account. It gives you 3 options. Right now, only the 3 public cloud have the direct integration. So you might want to do add AWS, Azure, or Google. In this case, I'm going to choose Google. And click next. It is actually, there is a tutorial to guide you step by step how to add the cloud account from Google. So you need to click open in Cloud Shell. I'm going to click here. So basically what's going to happen is it will launch the Cloud Shell. And you need to wait here. So we already launched the Cloud Shell. And you will be asked to give the permission to trust the repository. What's going to happen here is we're going to clone the repository from CloudCasa to your local directory. You can click confirm. Once you click confirm, actually, this is not the account I'm using. Let me close this one first. So let me come back here. So the idea here is you need to click the link, it will open Cloud Shell. Behind the scene, actually, we just have the cluster created. It took 6 minutes, 9 seconds. So let me open a new tab. So what we need to do is, if I was logged in as the right account, what's going to happen here is it will run this particular command, Cloud Shell open. And I'm going to copy this command here. It will launch the cloud, it will clone the repository and then launch the tutorial to walk you through step by step how to add the Google Cloud account to CloudCasa Web Console. Okay, if I click start, next, it will ask you to run this command to set your project. So for my case, I already run all of these. I just want to give you some ideas step by step to show you if you want to try by yourself how you can add a Google Cloud account to CloudCasa. So click next. So if you haven't done this, you need to run this. Basically, let me run this command here. So you need to including this is my project ID. So basically, you just run gcloud config set your project ID. Once you've done all of these, it will say your project ID is this. Okay. And if you run this command, it will list your current project. I'm not going to run this now. Next step. So you need to enable the required API. So how to enable the required API? You need basically enable the IAM, deployment manager, computer engine, and also cloud resource manager APIs. So how to enable it? You just click enable the required API. So if I click the enable the required API, it will launch a new tab. You just follow the prompt here. And let me click next. So you will be taken to this screen. You are about to enable the following API. Once you click enable, all of these APIs are enabled from Google Cloud. So without these API enabled, you can't connect to CloudCasa. So after you enable the API, the next step is This is also very important. You need to assign the owner rule to the Google API service agent principle. I'm actually curious, why they need the owner rule. But anyway, if you want to try how it works, you need to go to the IAM page. And from there, you find the Google API service agent. You click the edit button, you add the owner rule to the Google API services agent. If you haven't done, you have to do this. Let me show you how to do it. So in my case, I'm actually already added, but I'm going to show you how to do it. If I'm going to my IAM here, this is my IAM web console. And sorry, it's a little bit slow. So I'm going to search this Google API Services Agent. That's the service account you need to edit. You click the edit. I'm actually already added the owner role here, so I don't have to add again. If it wasn't added here, like this, you need to click add another role and select the owner role and click save. Okay, I'm going to cancel this since I already added this. So once you've done all of these, remember at the bottom of the screen, it says, once the template is deployed successfully, the owner role can and should be removed. So once, yes, I leave it for now. So click next step, and then you run the command, SSH command from the terminal. But you need to come back to CloudCasa Web Console to get the CloudCasa Cloud account ID. So this is from over here. So you copy this command, and then you run from the Cloud shell. So for this case, I'm actually already added the Google Cloud account, so I'm not going to run this command again. But the process is relatively simple because it provides the tutorial to walk you through only 4 steps. You can complete add the cloud account, and then you click finish. So you don't add the cloud account, okay? So once we done add the cloud account, so for my case, I'm going to cancel this. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to remove this cloud account since I already have an active cloud account listed here. So all I need to do is I just run, before I run inventory, let me show you what cluster I have. I don't have any cluster, right? But from my Google Cloud, if I do a G-Cloud containers cluster list, oh, actually, my mistake. It should be G-Cloud container clusters list. So you can see I do have a cluster here. This is my cluster. This is running 1.23. That's my cluster. And from all back to my Cloud console, CloudCasa web console, I did not have the cluster list here. So what I need to do is I'm actually go to the Cloud account. I just need to run the inventory. So by default, I believe there is an interval. They will automatically to schedule run the inventory, but I'm not going to wait the next schedule to run. So after I run the inventory, the cluster should be appeared here. Let's say yes, the cluster name ending with 448. Come back to Cloud Shell. Yes, that's the cluster we just discovered from Google Cloud. Okay. So once we already have this, actually, we already have the cluster, and we already have the cloud account. So if I click my cloud account here, so you can see I got a cluster here. And this particular cluster, how I can talk to my CloudCasa, you need to install something. What they need to install is a lightweight agent. It's called a CloudCasa agent. So there are 3 options to install. You can do the automatic way. Excuse me. Since we already have the linked cloud account added. Or you can do the manual way. You just copy the kube control command and run from the Cloud shell or any terminal. You have the access to the GKE cluster. Alternatively, you can also run manually via the Helm chart. For OpenShift, you can use the OpenShift operator. For DigitalOcean, they also have the one-click installation. For Rancher, that's another link here. So for now, let me do the automatic way install. Click install. So shortly, it will be installing agent. Let's see what agent installed here. If I do the get port status, you will see. Let me make it smaller. So you will see CloudCasa -io. That's the namespace just created 7 seconds ago. So CloudCasa Kube agent was installed into this particular namespace. And you might also notice, so Yong-PostgreSQL, that's my sample database, part of my initial cluster creation, roughly 10 minutes ago. So it is up running from our Yong-PostgreSQL. And right now, we are still waiting for the Kube agent. Kube agent, ports up running. So typically, how long it take? Yeah, probably 1 minute or two. All of the agent will be up running. Once the agent actually, it doesn't take 2 minutes. It's already up running. So if I come back to the CloudCasa dashboard, you can see installation successful. And from here, if I come back to my slide deck here, you can see we already successfully added the Cloud account. We already automatically discovered the GKE cluster, but we haven't created a policy yet. So the next step is we're going to create a policy, followed by create a backup. So go. Yeah, if you're not here, if you're in the dashboard here, you can see right now I got one cluster created. I got 2 cloud providers, but the other cloud provider, AWS Cloud, I don't have any cluster yet. Or you can go to configuration. Under configuration, there is a policy. What they call policy is actually, it is a little bit confusion to me. So in my opinion, the backup policy should be everything from the backup policy, but they actually, the policy, they split as 2 different areas. From here, I actually already defined 2 policy. Basically, if you want to create a new policy, click add a policy. What's going to configure here is just the scheduling. How often you want to schedule the job and how long you want to keep. Okay, if I add a schedule, say every hour, and I add a schedule by default, you already got the 30 days. You might want to change, say I want to make the daily, and you can make the settings. So for now, let me cancel this. I have 2 policies created here. The first policy for Yong 1, it's going to run very aggressively. It's running hourly, but it's running every 10 minutes, okay? And I'm going to keep only 3 days since it's a testing environment. I'm not going to keep longer. And the second policy, actually, it is a little bit more complex because we have the hourly policy, keep 3 days. We have daily policy, keep 7 days, weekly, and also monthly policy. So define a policy, basically just define how often you want to run the job and how long you want to keep. So the next job is, let me go back to the CloudCasa dashboard. We're going to define a backup. So let's say define a backup. So what I'm going to backup? So that's the first question. So in my case, I'm going to do PostgreSQL snap. I might just want to do snapshot only. So which cluster? So this is my cluster, GKE for Yong 1. I select my cluster. You might want to optionally add some tags. I leave it as it is for now. Click next. Do you want to back up the whole cluster? Or do you want to select the individual namespace? So for my case, I might just want to back up Yong-PostgreSQL. That's my application. That's so important. I just need to back up the PostgreSQL database. The rest of the system namespace, I can simply spin up a new cluster. Okay, next, bottom of the screen, do you want to including persistent volumes? Because I was running stateful database application, obviously, I need to include the persistent volumes. Do you want to enable app hooks? If you enable app hooks, basically it allows to have the pre-hooks, pre-backup, pre-snapshot hooks, and also post-snapshot hooks. So for now, I leave it as a default. I choose the default one, snapshot only. That means I only do the snapshot. I'm not going to make another copy to the external object storage. So let me go to next step. And you can make the schedule. You can schedule the job. I got two schedule here. One is every 10 minutes. The other one is every hour, followed by daily, weekly, monthly. Okay, for this particular job, let me leave it every 10 minutes because I only do the snapshot, okay? Click next, click create. So now the policy has been created successfully. So if you don't want to wait next scheduled job, you can click run now. We're going to run the job immediately. But for now, let me leave it as it is. And I'm going to define another backup policy. So this time, I'm going to say PostgreSQL snap and copy. So that means select the cluster, click next. I don't want to backup the whole cluster. All I care is my PostgreSQL application. I select the individual namespace. You can do multiple selection, obviously. And this time, I'm going to make it a snapshot and a copy. That means I will do the snapshot. After the snapshot finish, we will also send a copy to the external object storage, which storage we are using. As I mentioned earlier, by default, we're using the CloudCasa provided managed storage. So there is a global settings. So we will use the default managed storage from CloudCasa. But you do have the option to choose customize your CloudCasa storage. You might want to specially say, I want to send the backup to AWS. I want to send it to Azure. And you can also choose a region, okay? And alternatively, you might want to bring your own storage, but I did not define any of my own storage, but you can customize once you configure your own storage. It will be listed here. You can choose the storage. For now, let me just leave it as it is. So I'm going to select the snapshot and the copy. After the snapshot, after copy job successfully, I'm going to delete the snapshot, but you can choose to keep it as well, okay? So click next. So this time I'm going to use a different policy. So I will schedule every hour. I will, also have the daily backup or weekly and monthly backup. So click next, click create. So I have two backup policies configured. So one is doing snapshot only. The other one, the second one is not only doing the snapshot, we are also do the copy. So instead of waiting for the first backup job kickoff, let me just run the job immediately. So I just run the job. We're going to, because you choose to run manually, it will ask you to set the retentions. It can be different retention. Let's say I might just make the job, if you schedule job, keep 3 days. For my manual on-demand job, I just need to keep 1 day. So click run, and from under activities, you can see the job has been submitted successfully. It is showing running. If I click the job details here, you can see more details. So the job type, Kubernetes Snap, and this is my cluster name. This is my backup name. Click activity log. It will give you more details. So what we are backing up? So we are backing up where? Resources, 33 resources, and including one of the namespace, and we're also including the persistent volume claim. So if I click on PVC details, PV details, hey, interesting. Where is my PV?
Just to clarify, in my demo previously, the persistent volume is not CSI enabled. so the PV actually was not backed up.
Did I select exclude the PV backup? Shouldn't be. Let me see. Okay, so but the good news is the backup job completed successfully. I'm going to verify shortly. And the second job, PostgreSQL snap and copy, it will be scheduled to run every hour. I don't want to wait. I'm going to run this job as well. So also you're given, the option, how many days you want to keep. I might just keep 2 days. Click run, and the job is submitted successfully. The job appeared under activities. Click the job details, and I can see the activity log. So we are adding one VPC network, inventorying VPC network subnets, 33 subnets. We're going to add in one GKE cluster backup resources, and the number of protected CSI PVC 0. I don't know. I need to figure out what's happening. Why then a PVC showing 0? Actually, let me go to the command line. Actually, if you keep running here, let me see where is my PVC. Actually, I do have my PVC listed here. Anyway, I will try to fix that later, but just to share with you on the high level, the process, how it works. So remember, if I come back to the slide deck here, we have a account ready. We log in CloudCasa. We added the Google Cloud account. We added the Kubernetes cluster. We discovered the Kubernetes GKE cluster. We created a backup policy, which is including schedule and retention. We also define a backup. And my backup job looks like it completed successfully, but I need to figure out why the PVC wasn't included. Okay, I might need some time to figure out what's happening. I might leave it here for now. So once we have the backup jobs completed successfully, if I go to the protection tab, you do have the option to select the restore. So restore, these are the jobs I defined earlier. Let me remove, clean a little bit. Yeah, some of these I created earlier. Let me remove all of these, and it will be more clean. Okay, now all gone. So how click recover points? You can see these are the two of the recover points that I have. But I also have the previous backup jobs from Google Cloud and also from Amazon EKS as well. Yeah, let me use this one as an example. So I do have a couple of recover points here. So for example, here, I do have that's the backup I took yesterday. So if I click the restore here, it will take you to the screen. How do you want to restore? So in this case, you might want to say, I want to restore to an original namespace. I just want to do a full restore in place. Or you might want to say, I want to restore to sorry. This is select the source resource to restore. This is my original backup. And then do you want to exclude persistent volume? No, I'm not going to exclude that one. And click next. So here is a cool stuff here. Instead of you choose an existing cluster to do the recovery, but obviously you can choose the original cluster, or you can choose a different cluster to do the recovery. And also they give you the option to create a spin of a new cluster. Okay, could be from Google, could be from other cluster. It allows you to do the cross cloud recovery, and also allow you to spin up a new cluster from the 3 major public cloud. Okay, for my case, I just choose to use my original cluster. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename to a different namespace. Let's say I'm going to add suffix here. So I will restore everything to my original namespace, append the dash restore. That's all I need. Once I click on this, click next. Do you want to add any app hooks? If you choose add app hooks, you can choose the app hooks from the template. Okay, you do have the option. Yeah, I don't have any app hook defined yet, but you do have the option to post restore app hooks. But once you make all of the selection, restore name, I'm going to clone. Let's say PostgreSQL clone. I'm going to clone to a new namespace. Click restore. And you will see, if I go back to the dashboard, under activities, you can see PostgreSQL clone restore, it's running. And you can check the activity log, or you can go from the command line. Let's say I'm going to watch the progress of the pods. You can see yon-PostgreSQL-restore, the new namespace has been created successfully, and the container is creating, and shortly it becomes pending, and just a few seconds it will become up running. That is pretty simple, pretty easy to use, right? And we just talk about how to do the backup, how to do the restore. I think that's pretty much all I want to cover for now. And you can see the restore has been completed successfully. Yeah, there is a warning, but yeah, we will see what's the warning. And it does including the PVC, the persistent volume, also complete the restore. So by now, if I go back here, so you can see my restore job finished successfully. From the command line, you can also notice if my port is up running yet. Actually, it's still creating. Guess what happened? Because by default, I only use one node cluster. Yeah, so now because I'm going to restore, it requires more resources. So another node just launched 28 seconds ago. So the restore job is container creating, but it's pending on the available CPU memory resources. So that's why it just launched another node. So that's the beauty of the auto scaling. So if I continue to watch, you will see once the node is up running, you see the restore job also completely running 105 seconds ago. So that basically just covers the easy, simple recovery. So we did the backup of the PostgreSQL. We did the snapshot. We also did the snapshot and copy to the object storage. And right now, we just did the restore job. So the restore job, so from the restore job, we just did, so basically we only, yeah, the restore job, oh, this one, the restore clone, we duplicated from your backup to a new namespace. That's why from the command line, if I do the namespace list, you can see my PostgreSQL-restore namespace was just created 3 minutes ago. Okay. So come back to my slide deck here. So what are the typical use cases here? So the backup is mainly for the restore. So you can enjoy the container full restore capabilities. You can do the granular restore. You can do the clone to a new namespace. You can easily to migrate the containers from on-premise to the public cloud, or could be across different distributions or across different cloud providers, or could be different region, different account, different project. You can also use it the same way to simplify the upgrade and the maintenance. So that basically completes my demo. Now it's time It's lab time. Let's get our hands dirty. So I already shared with you the how to sign up a Google Cloud trial account, how to sign up a CloudCasa testing account, and then you can follow the steps which I just did to complete the testing by yourself. So I hope it is useful to you all. Yeah, feel free to ask me if anyone has any questions. I'm gonna just finish my slide deck here, just to including you a few reference links. So the first one, automation source code, it's available from my GitHub page, CloudCasa official documentation page. And we also have the Kubernetes free training and the badges. You can collect all these badges. So the bottom of the screen, the first one, Kubernetes user group, and like you guys are joining here, you can just go to share your friends, this link. The second one, Kubernetes data management LinkedIn group. The bottom of the screen, Kubernetes Telegram group chat. We're going to share all the slide deck and also recordings to this particular group. Okay, so for anyone who would love to try my automation, I do have the automation to cover all top 5, 6 public cloud, like OpenShift launcher cluster with backup, built in. Azure ARO, Amazon EKS, Google Cloud GKE, and Azure AKS, and also Alibaba Cloud. So feel free to try by yourself. These are all the YouTube video, but I also have the GitHub page to have the automation code publicly available. So that's all I want to talk about for today. Very much appreciate your time, and hope it is useful to you. Feel free to follow me by any one of the links listed here. And yeah, welcome to provide me any feedback or any comments for me to improve in the future. Thank you very much. Have a good one.